Hey everybody, so I've been away for a long time. I have a lot of new things to talk about. So, this is going to be kind of like a reintroduction video because a lot has changed in my life since we last spoke. So, let's get right into it. So, um, since I last started doing videos, I have come out as transgender. So, I use she, her pronouns if anyone is curious. But that's really the biggest change. Everything else pretty much the same. So I'm still in Blue Star. I am still a neophyte for a little bit longer. My initiation date is set, so that is really cool. I no longer live in Virginia. I am now in Minnesota. There's a lot of snow here. I don't like it. I'm really sorry if the video quality in this one is kind of weird and if the lighting is weird. My camera broke, so I'm using a phone and a weird phone ring light, which is what is on my glasses. And it's not horrible, but I don't like the setup. So just wanted to kind of check in, say hi. I'm going to try to make a couple more videos within the next week or so on just like different topics. I have one that I want to do on trans identities in paganism, specifically from my background in traditional Wicca. I want to talk about how that kind of fits in because in traditional Wicca it's often very male female focused, so it can be a little heteronormative and a little cisgendered, so to speak. So it's not always the most welcome place for trans people. It's gotten better, which is great. Blue Star is wonderful. A bunch of other traditions are getting much more accepting, which is great. And I love seeing people that I know who are in other traditions saying that things are getting better in their tradition as well. Love it. But I will have much more to say on that topic in a later video. I do kind of want to show you some of my new setup here in my new house. So the lighting's going to get weird for a second because I don't edit because I don't get time for that. So if y'all care at all about editing, I'm not the person for that. So cool. So gonna get that set up so we can look at everything. Not a lot is new. I mean, I have a lot more books now, which is the biggest thing, I think. So let's take a look. So behind me is kind of all of my crafty, witchy stuff. So like candles and whatnot. And then my bookcase. Oh, my bookcase. So I have 5 full shelves of books, which is not bad, surprisingly. Like, it's pretty decent. It's not too big, it's not too large, like, not too small. It's a good size of books. I recently inherited a ton of books from a fellow Blue Star member who passed. So I've kind of mixed their books and my books together and kind of have tried to organize them in some way. So like the whole top here is sort of like fiction style stuff. So it's like Laurel K. Hamilton, which it's literally fairy porn. Like, not gonna even sugarcoat that. It's fairy smut. It's great. I have some of Diana Paxson's fiction books. I'm missing a bunch in the series, or a bunch of her other ones too, but that's okay. I'm also missing a ton of the Laurel K. Hamilton books because I think she's still writing. I have no idea. I have a bunch of Gregory Maguire, so I have Wicked, Mirror Mirror, Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister, stuff like that. Some Diane Fortune, Go Foot God and Sea Priestess. And then Phyllis Carrow's Book of Shadows, which I cannot wait to read. So, and then the second shelf is kind of like myths and stuff. So it has a bunch of different mythology-based things. My copy of the Mabinogi, some other random stuff. And then I have a whole shelf of basically witchcraft, Wicca stuff. One of the things that I'm super excited about reading through at some point when I have time is my copy of Stuart Farrar's What Witches Do. It's a interesting book because he wrote it before he actually started practicing. So it's kind of like his point of view as a journalist, which I really like. I also happen to have a first edition copy of To Ride a Silver Broomstick. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. Because nostalgia. So it's got the original cover, and I love it. I am probably going to read that in the next month or so. West Country Wicca. I have a copy of the Alexander's Lectures, which I am dying to read through. I think that's going to be a really fun, scholarly kind of read. I might end up writing an article or something on it. I haven't decided yet. What else do I have in here? I have a whole section on herbs, obviously. So it have Del Pendel's Pharmaco series, so Pharmacopoeia, Pharmacodynamis, and Pharmacognosis. They are wonderful, wonderful books. If you aren't an herb person, they might be a little boring because they are scholarly works. They're not necessarily magical works. I certainly use them for magical reasons, but they are definitely a scholarly style type book. But it's a great series. Wonderful. I have 2 copies of The Master Book of Herbalism by Paul Barrel, which in my opinion is the book on magical herbalism. If you study magical herbalism at all, it is a book that you want in your library. He talks a lot about how herbs can be used in different ways, and it's just an all-around great book. And even the new edition, or the older editions, still have quite a bit of great knowledge in it. I have a bunch of books, well, not a bunch, I have some new books on alchemy, and specifically on like psychedelic plants, which I'm super excited about. And then one of my favorite is this book. It's backwards because I don't know why, but it's The 13 Pathways of Occult Herbalism, and it is excellent. It is also a scholarly style work, but in a you can use this for magic. It talks about different paths of herbalism and how it's not separate paths, like each of them lend to one another. So I'm probably going to do an entire video on that book alone because it's really amazing. And then my friend recently sent me a book that I am still needing to read through. I haven't had a chance yet, but it is called The Devil's Garden, and it is a herb book on like poisonous and deadly plants, which I am super excited about. There's an entire section on plants and sex, which I'm down. Let's do it. What else do I have? And then I have a whole bottom shelf of kind of paths to power kind of thing. So different things to aid in like magic works. So I have stuff on like meditation and astrology, divination. This is where I keep all of the like trance possession books and psychic self-defense books and things like that, and kind of all down here, as well as like some books that I don't really know where they go are down here. I have this copy of Pagan Feasts, which is literally a pagan cookbook, and like it's foods to serve at different Sabbats, which I love because if you know anything about Blue Star, you will know that we love food. It's not part of ritual, but it kind of is part of our ritual. After every ritual, we have feast, always. It's rarely skipped, and is only skipped like if people are sick or I don't know, but it's rarely skipped. Like we very rarely skip our feasts. So this is great because I can use it to have my feast dishes correspond to what Sabbats we're having, which I do anyways, but this gives me a lot more ideas, and I like that. I like having ideas. And it's probably better than the Real Witch's Kitchen, which I also have, which is also great, but Pagan Feast is specifically just food. It's not spells, it's not anything else, it's just food. Lots of food. And has cocktail recipes. Just saying, cocktails. But yeah, so that's really about it for the books. I'll probably do a more in-depth video on my whole bookcase to kind of like talk about things like different books and stuff specifically, but otherwise pretty small. It's not like some other people's books, so like where they have like room full of books. I wish that I did, but I, one, don't have the space, and two, don't have the money to buy that many books. I also have been in Minneapolis for 2 years, but I don't really go outside, especially in the winter. It's just not advisable. And I don't know where there's a used bookstore. I know there is a used bookstore. I know there are many used bookstores, but I don't know where they are. So I should probably check that out sometime to just, you know, see what we have. But, so yeah, so that's that. We caught up a little bit. I will be around. If you have any ideas for any videos that you would like me to make, please let me know, because I love hearing ideas, because then it gives me things that I can kind of put in queue, which is great. So yeah, and I don't know if you guys, back here I have some incense going on. I'm actually teaching a class at Paganicon, so if any of you watching are going to be at Paganicon 2019 in Minneapolis, I am teaching a class on Kapet, or as you may have heard it, Kifi, which is a Egyptian incense. So I have that going right now. So all of the dry mixes in here, and this basically sits for however long I want it to, really. But ideally it should sit for at least a month, because you want it to give time to kind of meld together, so to speak. And then in this thing back here is where the wine and the fruit lives currently. And then at some point in the next like couple weeks or so, that'll get blended up so that all the fruits get mixed in, and then at Paganicon, everyone will get the chance to make some Kifi to take home with them. So if you're going to be there, say hi. If you can't take my class, that's fine, because there are a ton of other classes in the same time slot that are going to be really amazing. I know Tempest is doing a class, and so is Jason Mankey. Both of their stuff is going to be really awesome. Dr. Beverly Smith is doing a hoodoo bath class that I am personally sad that I am missing, so I'm making someone in my coven go for me and take notes. Because, yeah. But that's it. So if you have any questions or any ideas on videos you might want to see, let me know. I am always open for new ideas. And yeah, that's about it. So it's great talking to you. It's great seeing you again. And I look forward to seeing you in the future. So I hope everyone has a good night, or good day, or good evening, wherever you are. And blessed be.